Hello, I'm Jenny Fern and welcome to my library. I am a chaotic neutral mechanical engineer who's really into permaculture and wants to talk about books. So let's talk about books. I'm gonna kick off a reading vlog. It is a windy Friday afternoon. I am off of work and I know my husband has quite a lot of work to do this weekend for his job. And so I know I'm gonna be like a little bit lonely. So I'm gonna fill that void with books. So I really wanna like plow through some books. I have a few options, so let's explore those. There's a few children's books that I really wanna read that we just got from the thrift store last weekend. That is Are You My Mother, which is my husband's favorite, cherished children's book from when he was a child. And then I got The Gas We Pass, The Story of Farts, which I picked out because I thought it was fun. And I want to give this to a child that I know. We have a few books that I have in progress currently. One is an issue of Flying Witch, which I have not finished. I'm close to finishing and my library rental is almost due, so I really should read that today. Because I had a book that was a library rental where I thought I could make it and I couldn't make it, and that was The Factory. So this is the other book that the problem is I don't know where I'm at with this book. So I'll have to figure out where I am in order to start reading it again. I also have Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I'm like almost done with this book. I read 2/3 of this book. I'm on page 187. That's where I left off, and I just haven't picked this up in eons. So this is another option that I would really love to finish. Okay, so here's the situation. You are in a vase, which is why you're crooked, and you're probably in a vase because I have had one drink of an alcoholic nature since we last talked. I've also mowed the lawn, and now I'm gonna read these books. I'm gonna start with the baby books. So I'm gonna start with this one. Progress on to Are You My Mother. It says I can read it all by myself, so hopefully that's correct.
Sorry.
What are you doing? Oh, I just took her out. She peed. Okay. Take her out again.
Yeah.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you. Lawn looks so good.
What? Oh, the lawn. The lawn isn't he nice? He said the lawn looks so good. I did that. There's already so much to note about this, but we've gotten to a diagram. Love this. Love this so much. Let's go to this page. So I did not realize this was a translation. So this was originally published in Japan, and it was called A Story of Farts. I love this farting cat so much. 10 out of 10. Love it. Excited to give this to a small child. This was very cute. I was reading Are You My Mother? And the illustrations are very, very simple, but very effective. And the character is so cute. Let me show you my favorite picture of him. Here he is, all cross. Yeah, this was a little stressful, but I enjoyed it. I can understand why my husband liked it so much. It's a nice example of humanity doing good. I'm going to finish up the issue of Flying Witch that I have, or the volume of Flying Witch that I have. I think it is number 6. And then I think I'm gonna take a shower after that. I feel like taking a shower now, but I'm gonna read Flying Witch first. And then I think I'm gonna try to finish Before the Coffee Gets Cold tonight. That might not happen. I might fall asleep. So I just finished reading Flying Witch Volume 6. It was cute. There's just something about Flying Witch that I really find very comforting and warm and cute. So I did like in the last issue of this volume, they are collecting worms and they're putting them in a like can, like a soda can. So when I was in Japan years ago now, 2016 I think, is when I spent a month in Japan for my schooling and work. They're using a Hokari sweat container. When I was in Japan, Pocari sweat was like a big deal. It's like it's kind of like a Gatorade, or like a sports drink was like a big thing. At the place that I worked at, you could get from the vending machine, you could get coffee, tea, or sport drink. And you could even get a hot sport drink. So I'm now going to take a shower. I'm going to start reading the final pages of Before the Coffee Gets Cold. So I'm now clean. My teeth are clean. I've got hair oil in. Everything's great. We'll see. I'm pretty zonked, to be honest. I do really want to read this book, so we'll see what prevails. Oh, hi Lou. Hi Louie. Hi Louie. So it is just a little bit before 8 o'clock in the morning the following day. I have just finished reading Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I have some really mixed feelings on this, to be honest, because I just really don't agree with the last story. Consequential decision made in that last story was really stupid, and I don't think I would ever understand why somebody would do that, and I don't like the idea of of anybody being okay with that. I did find it very touching and heartbreaking, I suppose, but yeah, it just really wasn't what I wanted. I guess maybe I can kind of understand it if this individual, I don't know, had come to terms with that future just throughout their life. The whole idea that that was a very likely outcome, I suppose. Sorry, I'm trying to make this super vague so that it makes sense. Anyway, as you can clearly tell, I'm a little bit disturbed and upset by that last story. But right up until we got to that story, I was having a wonderful time. I really enjoyed some of the sections. There's just some really beautiful, like, healing moments. It's like the whole idea of this book is that you can go to this cafe. The entire story takes place within the confines of this cafe. You go there and there's a certain place that you can sit in where you can go back in time for a very brief moment. And as long as somebody has visited the cafe and you know when they visited, you can return to that time and talk to them. And so a lot of this is about healing from some sort of like miscommunication or a conversation that was not held. There is nothing about what you do in the cafe that can affect the outcome of the event, but it's really just about like healing mentally. So there's 4 different stories. It was fine. I really liked the setting overall. I did enjoy the construct of the story. You're not like learning any sort of lesson, but it can kind of feel like you're supposed to take something from it. If you are supposed to take like lessons away from it, I don't think the lessons are very good. If that makes sense. Pretty mixed feelings. I did give it a 4-star because I did think it was quite well written and well constructed, but yeah, again, a little bit troubling, just a little bit troubling. I will read a few passages if you don't mind. Water flows from high places to low places. That is the nature of gravity. Emotions also seem to act according to gravity. When in the presence of someone with whom you have a bond and to whom you have entrusted your feelings, it is hard to lie and get away with it. The truth just wants to come flowing out. This is especially the case when you are trying to hide your sadness or vulnerability. It is much easier to conceal sadness from a stranger or from someone you don't trust. So I do want to read The Factory today, or finish reading The Factory today. I decided to take a photo before the coffee gets cold. Again, I'm just doing a really simple photo for this one. I think that's best. Oh, shoot, you know, I was going to do a clock. I just went and got the clock. We'll try a couple different clocks. I have a couple other clocks. Let me see. We'll see. Let's try. I read a little bit of The Factory outside in the garden, warmed up a little bit, and then I went back to my house and read a little bit on the couch because it was getting really bright. And then now I'm cold. So I'm going to do a little bit of chores with the laundry and dishes. And then I think I'm gonna make lunch. I think I'm gonna make pasta for lunch or an egg salad sandwich. So I read a few small sections of this book that I had previously read because I was trying to find where I'd left off. And now I'm into the new material. And I am having really such a fun time. I'm pretty sure that this follows 3 different characters. I think it's just 3. Moss person, the shredding person, and the proofreading person. They kind of blend together a little bit for me. This is a very unique, surreal experience about a few people who work in a factory of like unknown purpose. So yes, I am really vibing with this right now. I just feel like I need to be doing something. So I'm gonna do laundry, dishes, and then I also kind of have an urge to do like spring cleaning. My dog is weighing my knees at the present moment. She is right here. Oops. My cat's trying to escape the house today. He's being really pushy about it. He climbed all the way up the screen door. So that was fun. Now Chloe's drinking water. Lots of sounds, lots of ambiance today. Okay, he's once again trying to climb up it. Hi, bud. Sorry. I'm in a hell of my own making. Oh, I'm so sorry. I keep bonking you. I just finished reading The Factory by Hiroko Oyamada. I loved this. This is a surreal, weird, kind of confusing book. Clover is now trying to cuddle with the camera, so I'll let her do that, I suppose. Louie's on the other side of you, if you were wondering where Lou was. Gord? You see how handsome you are? Yeah. Okay, so The Factory was a very fun reading experience for me. I really enjoyed it. I read this in 2 different ways. In one way, I read it on my phone as a library rental, and I have to say that was far more confusing and disorienting than the reading experience in the book. For some reason, in the ebook, there's like no chapter breaks, but there are in the real book. So it goes between characters when there are these little chapter breaks, and I just didn't see any breaks. This is what he's been doing. Anyway, I loved reading The Factory. I thought it was really, really fun. The ebook experience was far, far, far more confusing than it had to be. I don't know why they did that, but the physical book experience was great. Loved it. I really enjoyed the portions that I reread as well when I was trying to find my place that I left off on. I really liked it. I liked the writing. I liked the ambiance, honestly. It was like very cool. Yeah, it's all about being a worker. Being a worker. in a factory, being a little working person, having to work for your whole life, forever. So that's what it's about. It's too soon. She's only 20 years old, my daughter, my baby girl, and now she's going to have a baby of her own. What about college? What about me? I'm going to be a grandmother. Grandmother? Out of the corner of my eye, I thought I saw one of the smaller women in print services holding a black bird by its wings. But when I looked again, it was just a toner cartridge. Stuff like that. The combination of mundanity and surrealism. Ugh. Okay, I love this too. I love this level of like pettiness. It's so good. So there is a character whose brother has a girlfriend, and the sister of the brother is the character that we see her perspective. She is just like so annoyed with this girlfriend. He lives on iced coffee. If it's on the menu, that's what he gets. Why did she get a real cup? My drink came in some stupid paper cup. It's just so relatable. I've worked my whole life, and it's never been a fight. Not at all. It's always been stranger than that, harder to grasp. It's not even something inside of me. It's out there, out in the world. How could I ever control that? I thought I'd been giving it everything I had, but what I thought was my everything had no real value. Just look at the way I am now. That's proof. I don't want to work. I don't. But what else am I doing with my life? Just something fun for the casual salary worker, for the casual temp. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I want to take a picture of it now. So I couldn't find exactly the blackout poetry that I wanted to find, but I did find this one, which is pretty well on theme. It says, I can't think, and I certainly can't imagine making the world a better place. And then there's a bunch of images. I did get some moss from the yard, and I did get some shredded paper. And I put it in the same container just because I had it all over the place and I thought it was really messy. I'm not really vibing with the composition, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think this is not working and I need to find another option. Turns out a lot of art that I've made fits with this book quite well. Collages, which I actually really love. I think these are so beautiful. I made these when I was in Italy. So they're like super bare bones. It's like using catalogs and stuff I got for free. So anyway, I just feel like this works really well for the proofreader and the shredder almost combined. And then this, the glow, celebrate arrival, space beckons you inside, metallic accents and soft lighting settle in and bask in the glow every day alone. And this is literally about like factory work, so it works. Especially like I feel like this works as well for this book, and this one a little less so, but it also does have that factory kind of aesthetic. This has to do with attention spans. My moss isn't as vibrant as I want. It's not really coming across on camera very well, but it is what it is, and I'm just glad that I did have moss that I was able to use today. I saw these cool pictures of moss, so I decided to retry the composition with some moss photos. Well, I was gonna give an update here, but I'm clearly not in frame, but you can see Louie. I also have a small garden haul, excuse all this crap. I got some rosemary from trimming out my pathways, and also some peppermint and some orange mint. And then I got garlic. I just didn't realize it was garlic. I thought it was some sort of onion. And anyway, they're not quite ready yet. But I picked these two thinking that they were onions, and then I picked this one and I realized it was a garlic. I was like, whoops. So I have been scything or sickling. I'm super sure. It's like a hand scythe. Some grass behind my house because it's really overgrown and it's kind of scary to go back there now. but I did also plant a cardoon back there. So this is all food, and this is your sign to plant a food forest, because it just gives you food when you need to trim your shit down. I have crazy allergies right now. I am dying of sneezes, but I'm also enjoying my time. I am back. I finished about 1/2 of the overgrown area behind my house, and I brought in this, which is the tool I was using, which I guess is a sickle? I don't know. It's useful for cutting the grass down and like weeds around like other plants, because you have control over where it's going. I want to take a picture of the Good Earth, which is about farmers in China. So I was going to use this as like a nice old farming implement. I also brought in my pitchfork, and I brought in some like little farmy looking grasses. So it's set in China, and I do have one like Chinese shirt from when my dad had to work in China for a period of time when I was a child. I'm gonna check and see if the timeline and that style of shirt works. I don't really have like Chinese farm stuff. I love this. I feel like this is very cute. That's apparently like 1910s to 1920s, which this book takes place like 1910s, 1930s, I think is when it ends. The shirt that I have is maybe a lot more 1940s, 1960s, or like modern than what I'm seeing here in like the 1910s to 1920s. It's just not really the same. So I don't know if I can use any of that. So this is what I got. Cats are into it because of the grass and the smell on the sickle. So anyway, I don't know. I think I want to try a few different, stop it. I want to try a few different compositions because it's okay as it is now, but I feel like it could be better. Some Schmeed Cam. There she is. Hello! I hope you enjoyed this reading vlog. I read a handful of books, or at least finished a handful of books, and I really found one that I loved in The Factory. I really enjoyed reading that book. Honestly, after I put it down, I wanted to start reading it all over again. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, consider sharing it with a friend who you think would also enjoy it. Consider liking and subscribing, and I will be back again soon.